Today we'll be doing a blind spot monitor calibration and adjustment on a Toyota Highlander. I'm going to take you through step by step on how to take the bumper off, put it back on. Before we put it back on, we'll adjust and calibrate that blind spot monitor. There's going to be a bolt back there on this side and this side. We're going to take off this clip. We're going to have to take off the rear mud flap. We're going to remove this bolt, this clip. We're going to take this rear wheel opening molding about halfway off, and there's most likely going to be a bolt or something holding the bumper down right here, or a series of clips going down, and then this will go for both sides. And then underneath there's going to be clips or bolts underneath as well, and we'll get to those. Here we don't need to take the taillight off. There's no bolts holding the bumper on under the taillight. The style of clip tool that I use to take off all my clips are plier style. It's just what I prefer. You can use a normal clip tool to take off the clips, whatever helps you best take clips off without hurting the plastic and without breaking clips, so that you can put them back on without having to spend money on replacing clips or waste time on going to get extra clips for the car you're working on. And this pry tool is helping me to not hurt the paint, but get inside and pop the wheel opening molding so that it can come off without breaking the clips in the wheel opening molding, because those can be expensive if you have to replace those. Sometimes it helps to get the last bolt. Before we take it all the way off, I gotta look in here and find out where the wires are coming into. You can see right there, all the wires come into that one plug. I should just be able to unplug that. Bumpers off. So that plug. This plug right here is for parking sensors all the way around. Plugs into right there in the rear bumper. We got the bumper off. This is the blind spot module that we'll be calibrating. You can tell from that side of the bumper that it was hit almost directly where this blind spot module goes. So it's definitely going to be off. The codes in my Autel said that it had a misalignment, so all cars know their own center axis, and they know that one of them is off, and they can tell that one, which one has been disturbed. If you look at the other side, you can see that there is a good gap, an even gapping between And you can see right here between the bracket and the quarter, there's almost no gapping there. So we already pre-scanned it. We know what it is. I'm gonna go to ADAS calibration. Okay. Scan this. I already know it's the slave. It's gonna say it can't read any of those, which we don't care about because we know that they're unplugged. We're gonna click calibrate this. We're gonna say that there was a diagnostic trouble code. So these are the tools you'll need for this one. Corner reflector, calibration stand, plumb line. Tells you the space you need. It'll tell you actually which side it is, just in case you don't know. Hopefully I put the car in the right spot. We might have to move it a little bit. Set up, set up. All right, now we'll do our markings. We're gonna follow the directions on here. It's super simple. Let's get started. Come to the front here. So you go top of the emblem, bottom of the emblem. Sometimes there's another marker, like we got the camera there. Kind of give us another center line. And then you can either draw a line with marker, or I use this. It's easier to see from the other end. Autel has a laser level. It probably works great. I've never used it. I use this. It's Milwaukee laser level. Flip it to on. I would definitely get a laser level, a good one. What you do, set up the laser level. Instead of a measuring tape, I use this digital measuring tape. So it's saying it wants it to be measured out at 1,666 millimeters behind the vehicle. Digital measuring tape. So now your laser's already at the right distance. Now, bring you down even lower. You're going to put that laser all the way, you're gonna match it to the emblem at the top, right there. And all the way over there, there's the cup. Laser, emblem, cup. It's gonna give you your center access, and it's gonna beam a line all the way over there, straight line, to where you need to mark for blind spot module. So now we're dead straight. Here, we're gonna grab your marker, corner reflector, so now it wants us at 2424. So I do use measuring tapes, just not for what they're meant to be used for. This one's gonna be used to beam my digital measuring tape against. Using the digital measuring tape, I am beaming the laser onto that measuring tape I'm using as a backdrop next to the laser level to get my proper distance along the laser line for the blind spot module calibration stand. So now we're 24-24, right on this mark, draw an X, and that's where we're gonna place our corner reflector. So the corner reflector has all these lines on it, right? Measurements. So it'll tell you what to put it at. Next, so it wants it at 752. So we're gonna go 752. Right there. And then if you look down here, these bubbles, we gotta adjust these until we get the bubbles where they're supposed to go. Okay, now we're gonna turn the reflector light on. It's gonna put a beam out there, a little laser. I'm gonna put that laser right in the center. Turn the laser off. So now, hit next, 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 exit, okay, okay. So hit go, and it is off negative 13.14 degrees. That is pretty far. So we're gonna come over here and we're gonna sit here and play with it and adjust until we can get it to calibrate straight. As you can see, a lot of metal is being pulled. You got to be careful not to pull too much or not to pop the welds that are holding this bracket on. You can see the quarter panel being pulled out just slightly, and in the end it actually makes the bumper fit a little bit better because it was hit in that quarter. All right, that might be as close as we're gonna be able to get. So we're gonna hit next. Okay. Adjustment complete. Escape. Pass, no fault. Now we gotta put the bumper back on. Anytime you're going to attempt to put a bumper on by yourself, you're going to want to tape there, 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 there. Pretty much any paint, especially fresh paint, that is going to mar. You don't want to mar it because you're the last step. This car is about to go home. Tape the bumper up in the car, especially when you're doing it by yourself. Doesn't always happen like that, but in this case, this side actually went on better than it was originally. You always be careful when you're peeling the tape off, especially when it's fresh paint. This isn't fresh paint. Still want to be careful. You never know if they took pictures beforehand, right? I mean, you could always expect that if you're gonna take pictures when cars get here, that they probably took pictures when it left. You never want to get blamed for something. So, taking pictures or videoing around the car when you see damage, or always, either works. But you definitely want to be careful when it comes to paint, because paint is expensive. Now we got to put all the clips in. You're done, fault scan the ADAS. So these should now be histories. Once you erase them, they'll just pass. You can always fault scan it again if you were curious. So the only thing is no response heads-up display because it doesn't have it. Escape. We'll post scan this later after we go on a drive. Let's turn it on. Perfect. All right, works properly. Now we'll do a fault scan on the whole thing. If this car is for a body shop, I wouldn't clear these codes. I would only clear the codes in ADAS. But on the full fault scan, I wouldn't clear the full post scan. I wouldn't clear codes. Let them clear those codes. When it's for a dealership, you can clear the codes. Usually they would prefer you to clear the codes. I don't usually charge them to clear the codes and do the ADAS. It's usually just all in one. But looks like we got no diagnostic trouble codes. So we are all good after our drive. That blind spot module is working properly. And now we can exit out of the vehicle. And then I always email myself a copy. We'll go hi. For billing. And that is a 2021 Toyota Highlander, full ADAS calibration for the slave blind spot. So right side of the vehicle blind spot calibration.